Discord, we were just laughing about how on Monday night, I was in a blacked out room, not feeling all my best, but I'm so happy to be here and feeling my absolute best, which made me think of, congratulations to everybody being here, because showing up for your business, looking like when you show up and you are your best is going to vary from time to time. But as long as you know that you're giving it your best is the most important part. And I really feel that showing up is it is the ultimate element of success. Okay. So many people sign up, but they never actually get started. And I always feel like I need to give you guys that tap on the back, because I used to personally give myself that tap on the back when I would listen to Sheila's 9 p.m. calls when I was first getting started in my business and I was dialing in and paying long distance. Okay. So what a gift it is that we have internet, that we get to log in. And tonight, I am so excited because I'm hosting this call with Charlotte Barkowski, which is one of my direct regional vice presidents. Not only is she a regional vice president, she's an executive regional vice president. She's on her way to going nation this year. And I am just so excited about this subject that we're talking about, which is building in your cold network. And so who does that scare? Like, people who have their camera on, does that scare you? Like, let's hear it. Does it scare you? Okay, because I know for myself.
Scares the crap out of me.
Okay, Val. So I'm happy that we're talking about this today, because I think that a lot of us have this misconception of what a cold market looks like. And so I'm literally piggybacking off this Sunday night skills from Monday night, from how Debbie finished it off when she showed us her region picture. And if you weren't there, she showed us her region pictures, showed us 3 people that were her direct business partners, said that they were no longer there, but everyone there was people that are linked to those people that are in her business today. And it had me in reflection of, what does my business look like since I went region and then since I went nation? I'll assure you that you would never arrive at any level that you get to in this business. And the beauty is that when you piggyback off of knowing that every single person that you meet, not just who you enroll, is hidden spring. It is hidden spring. And I want you to feel like that, because if at any moment in your life you feel stuck, okay? And I think about Jim Rohn is one of my favorite speakers of all time, that referring to our business. He used to say, do you feel stuck? He's like, I'm going to tell you something. You are not a tree. Move. Okay. So the one key thing about our business is that we do start in our warm network. Okay. And it is important to do that. But draw out your list of contacts and think of who you know that you know somebody, and always keep in mind the hidden spring, because every single person that you're putting down on that piece of paper could literally link you to so many other people. Okay. And so there's that factor, number one. And I also want you to have the expectation of what kind of people are coming into your world, because it's often not who you know right now, but it's who you're going to meet. And it may be from somebody that you know already. It may be from somebody that you are about to meet, or it may be somebody that you're just about to literally bump and collide into. Okay. And I think about Charlotte branching off into tonight's training. And I'm going to tell you guys, when I went and declared that we were going to go nation in 2016, okay, Debbie was like my long friend from upline, major mentor that I called up on September 1st, 2016. I was like, I'm going nation. And she was like, yes, you are. And it was like a 5-minute conversation. Like, go find 16 area managers. This is the way you're going to go. Okay. So that was the conversation. And as I looked at my organization and as I looked at the leaders that I wanted to be enrolling into my business, I started to think, I don't have necessarily those key people to go bring my team to national vice president without that. And this is the fun story, you guys. I started to think and declare over my business the kind of leaders that I wanted to attract into my life. And I still do the same exercise today. And I know that I already have, I was listening to Stacy talking on Monday night, and I was loving every minute of her talking, because I was literally visualizing a Stacy coming into my life and being enrolled into my business and throughout my organizations. And I wish you do the same exact thing. Every time you hear somebody that inspires you, just write down their key qualities. I wrote down as a key quality of a new business partner that I'm enrolling this year. She's a Tasmanian devil. She's an Arbonne boss babe. She gets the job done. She's highly motivated. She lives the Arbonne culture. She's loving. She's positive. She always sees the best in everybody. She makes people feel good. She lights up a room when she walks into it. What kind of person do you want to be enrolling? Okay. So this puts me to the point that before I met Charlotte, I wrote down on a piece of paper that I wanted to enroll of like somebody who knew business sense to the next level, that was international. Okay. And this is the craziest story, you guys. I just surrendered that she would be super hardworking and that she was relentless, that she would go after her dreams. And so, long story short, I was feeling very low one day in my business and I decided to go out shopping on a mission. Okay. And this brings me to the point that we have literally access to the next level of our business every time we walk out of our house. So a lot of the times we misidentify ourselves with like, this is what I do, this is who I am, and I have an arbonne business. So as of today, if you are deciding that you want to bring your business to the next level and you want to bring it to the 2 and 1%, of course, go see earnings.arbonne.com to see what those averages are. And we all know that those averages are something that we can work our way towards. If you want to work your way towards that, you want to start walking out of your house with having your brand and your business like literally in your like your arbonne hat. You know how we try to say you wear many hats? Like expect to be meeting the next person, expect to be meeting that next regional vice president of your business, expect to be meeting that key person that's going to lead you to the next person. And that's just like the law of the law of attraction. It's the law of action. And if you have the expectation, it's going to be on the track towards. Oh, okay. Now I asked her to unmute when she muted herself. Okay. So all of that to say is that I literally wrote down the type of person that I wanted to be attracting in my business. And I went out shopping like for a minute, like on a purpose that day. I went out with one of my business partners and I just went out and lived my life. I had conversations with people and I didn't necessarily jive with anybody until the last store I went to. Okay. I went to Sauve to buy jewelry for our team for our recognition, and I ended up meeting Charlotte in this store. Okay, I ended up hitting it off. We ended up talking about the business that I do with my business and all this stuff. And I said, hey, we could meet for coffee. I could tell you a little bit more about it. I don't know if you're looking for an additional side business or whatnot. Little did I know. Okay, little did I know, and this is why you have to trust your intuition. You have to have your intention clear on who you're attracting in your business. Charlotte had just moved from Morocco, Morocco, and she literally lived there, built a massive business. Okay, she was an ultimate boss babe, selling to hotels all around the world. Okay, and she literally was getting exasperated from being a big time business owner. She moved herself and her family with 12 luggages to Montreal. I'm like totally giving away your story, Charlotte. But anyways, all I'd say is that she ended up moving to Montreal and just decided that she wanted to be an employee. Okay. And just wanted to have like a regular 9-to-5 job, just like work retail. And she was dying for an opportunity like this. And little did I know anything like this of her when I first met her. And we met for coffee. She was not interested in arbonne, but yet she ended up joining arbonne on the day that we qualified nation. And there's, that's like synchronicities in life. And you have to learn to trust that the universe absolutely has your back when you have the intention. So it's matching intention. It's matching the action. It's matching the courage to ask somebody to have coffee with you to discover maybe if it could be for her. She could have said no. And the best part about this story, and this is where I'm going to pass it off to her, is that she was brand new to Montreal. She didn't have a single network in any of the countries that arbonne is actively building business in. But I'm telling you guys, when arbonne opens in the countries that she does know people, she's got lists and lists and lists of people that are begging to start arbonne right now in other countries. Okay. And this is where it gives me goosebumps because that didn't stop her. She didn't have the network. How many times do we like go through our list, we do our launches and we think to ourselves, I don't know the people. And how many of us on this call have people that we wrote on our list that are in countries that arbonne is active in, and we haven't taken the courage to ask them to take a look? They might be linking us to our next biggest player. And so all this to say is that she jumped in, she's had the courage, and I want to bring her on to share her key tips on how she got her arbonne business started and how she's taken on all these not necessarily obstacles, but rebuttals that people tell us on and oftentimes. So on that note, I'm going to pass it off to you, Charlotte. You know how much I love you. Every time I get off the phone with her, my heart is so full and I'm so grateful that she literally is in my life and that we literally collided in life together. And I love doing life with you, Charlotte. So on that note, I'm passing it off to you.
Well, thank you so much. And hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. and especially to share about this subject for sure. And you're going to hear that I have come such a long way on both of these subjects since I started Arbonne. It's pretty crazy. So, nobody should feel scared or whatever, because everything is figure outable. I'm not going to go much into my story because Alex just said it. So it's true. I moved to Montreal, didn't know a single person. I've been an entrepreneur all of my life, really didn't do anything else. And I just got so tired of all the responsibilities, of all the work, all the stress that was related to that I decided to change my life completely, not knowing at all what I was going to do, just taking a leap of faith and knowing what wasn't working for me. And anyway, so I took a job waiting for something whatever to come up, and that's where I met Alexandra. And it's true that when she mentioned the business, when she asked me to come have coffee with her, yeah, I was open, because I was open to meeting new people, and because she was so nice and had such great energy, of course. And even though I wasn't interested in the business right away, it was only because I didn't understand it. I needed somebody to explain it to me. And so, right, when I understood what it was, and it just felt smart and easy and not complicated and not risky for me. So that's why I jumped in. And I think many people will jump in like that too, just saying, I'll take a look and then I'll see whether I like it or not. But I had absolutely no network. And also, to tell you a little bit more about myself as a person, first of all, I'm like a true introvert. I'm the real deal. I am never lonely. I'm never bored. Before Arbonne, I didn't like talking. I love to listen, however. I do love that. I love being by myself. And before Arbonne, I really never felt the need to actually go out and meet new people. That was like, I didn't see why I would do that. Public speaking would have been like, no way, Jose, why would I ever want to do something like that? I do not like being in the spotlight. And also, I know that's not a good thing for Arbonne, but I'm also not a very competitive person naturally, okay? And I know all of these things really might not seem like the right traits that you need to have to build an Arbonne business, but I'm being very honest, because I truly believe there's a place for everybody at Arbonne, and that we all come to the table with different skills and different personalities, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, this is a business. And like any other business, there's stuff that we're going to have to learn and do, whether we like it or not, whether we're natural or not. And that's just how it goes. If we're not good at something, well, it's kind of our job to get good at it. If we ever want to grow ourselves and grow our business, it's just about a question about knowing what it is that we want, and then seeing what is it that we need to do to get there, right? So I understood right away that building a network was going to be kind of important to grow my business, especially considering that, I could count on absolutely nobody. So I decided to become an extrovert for certain periods of time in the day, because that's what I had to do. And me, what did that mean? Because people are always asking me, what did you do exactly? Well, what I did was I decided to go out and meet people. So I signed up for classes. I told myself, this is going to be hard for you because you're not used to meeting people. So at least do something that you love. So I signed up for art classes, because I've always loved arts. So I went to painting, and I met tons of people there, and they became my clients, and some joined my team. I decided to go exercise because I was really out of shape. And so I made lots of friends there, and who also, some of them became clients, some of them joined my team. I started saying hi to strangers in the streets. I learned to smile at people and actually look at them instead of, just kind of going like this everywhere that I went. I decided to be really helpful whenever I could, because I know that, one person helped me when I arrived in Montreal. One person helped me to really get my husband started in his profession, and he didn't ask for anything in return. And thanks to that person, my husband was he started from scratch too when we got here. But anyway, he managed to get a job and get going and everything. And I always told myself, if this person were to ask me for anything, if he started a new business or whatever and asked me to take a look, I would jump in and say, of course, what can I do to help you? Where can I be? And I always thought, you have to be that person too, that people want to help, and that, people are open to. And I started opening social media accounts that I didn't have, following people that looked like they knew what they were doing and kind of copying what they were doing, because I sure as hell didn't know. I invited my neighbors and started an annual neighbor party. No, they didn't even know each other, never talked to each other, anybody on my street. And I just went out, knocked on everybody's door and said, hi, you don't know me, but, you know, I would love it if you would come over to my house. And, you know, I'm doing like this barbecue, whatever. And people came and they were so excited about getting to know each other, and we became friends. And then these people, some became clients, some joined my team, and some referred me to other people, and so on. I was not hesitant to ask people for referrals, because I also believe that I have something really incredible to offer to people, whether it's the opportunity or the product. So I would say, you know, here's what I do. I don't know if you'd be interested to come to one of my events. If, you know, I'd love to invite you if you could come. And, you know, if sometimes people would say to me, no, it's not really for me, whatever. I would always keep the conversation going and say, but hey, you know, maybe you know somebody who this could interest. So feel free. I learned to use Facebook groups. Those are so powerful, you guys. Joining Facebook groups that have nothing to do with Arbonne, but that have everything to do with what you love. You know, whether it's sports, activities, people, personal growth, yoga, I don't know, whatever it is, dogs. And then just having conversations with people in these groups and bringing, you know, value to them, posting stuff that interests people, answering questions when people have questions, when we can answer them. That really is the best way to just meet new people online. I've met so many people just by joining groups all over the place. And then I also committed to learning skills, you know, that were required to building an Arbonne business in general. And I committed to that absolutely every day, showing up for the calls, like Alexandra said, going to all the trainings, reading as many books as I could, finding as many experts, mentors, people, you know, who I wanted to be able to, well, to follow and to learn from. And I invested in myself, because I realized that, you know, my business is me. So I have to grow and I have to learn and I have to invest in myself. And then I have to learn how to make friends, and I have to learn how to talk to people about Arbonne. And so I have to find a way for somebody to teach me. So for me, it has always been about turning cold market into warm market. It's never been about, you know, cold messaging people and stuff. I know many people build Arbonne businesses or network marketing businesses like this. I don't know how they do it. I've never done this. I turn strangers into friends. That's always what I try to do. And no matter what the outcome, because I am so grateful to Arbonne that I have been able to get out of my own head in my own space and to actually go out and meet people, because I have made so many friends along the way that I never would have. And of course, you're all a big part of them, but there's also people who've never joined my company and who we've become great friends with, and with who I do other stuff. And I feel so grateful that they're in my lives as well. So, and I also learned, you know, the saying that we'll always hear, some will, some won't, so what, who's next? And that's it. Some will, some won't, so what, who's next? I learned not to take whatever happens personally, and always just to keep bettering myself and just trying to get as many conversations as going, and also keeping people comfortable. For me, that's very important, that whatever conversation I'm having, everybody's comfortable, that people can say no, people can ask me for more questions, people can tell me not now, later, I don't know. And that, you know, as long as they're comfortable, that means I can keep the conversation going. Maybe, and you know, to follow up later on and maybe just ask how people are doing, and they won't feel that it's weird because they feel I always have something in mind. It's really just about creating friendships. And so in dealing with objections, here's what I've learned. And I think I've really learned this from Eric Worre or other people, but anyway. First of all, there's always two types of objections only that people have. It's either limiting beliefs about themselves, or it's limiting beliefs about the profession. So limiting beliefs about themselves would be something like, I have no money, I have no time, I can't sell, I don't know anyone, I don't like to talk in public, I don't have support from my family. I don't have support from my friends. I'm afraid to fail. Those are all limiting beliefs that people can have about themselves. And then limiting beliefs in the profession would be something like, it's a pyramid, right? We've all heard that. It's a scam, or this is not a real business. It could be only people at the top make any money. The products are too expensive. I know someone who tried and failed, or it could even be I tried and failed. You know, some people have tried and didn't work for them in other businesses. And so it's all about asking the right questions so that we understand, you know, what the objections truly are and where they come from. Because if we hear someone say, for example, I tried and failed or whatever, if we take the time to ask what the story is behind that, because there's always a story, right, for that kind of stuff, to say, oh my God, you know, I hear you've got a story behind this. I'd love to know what it is. Well, we'll probably end up learning. They'll probably end up telling us that they didn't put the effort and time that was required, that they didn't show up for the meetings, that they didn't love the products, that something happened, why they quit. And then, you know, that will be able to take us to the next step, because what is our goal? Always. Our goal is to schedule the next exposure, because what do we want? We want people to have all the information. We want all of their objections to be answered so that they can make the decision that's right for them, right? We're not going to be making that decision for them. We just got to make sure that they know at the end of the day exactly what it is that we're offering, and that they don't have like preconceived ideas in their head that are wrong. So we want to keep that conversation going as always, and making sure that we get all the right information in. So the process to handling objections is always in 4 steps. Number 1 is to always listen, really listen, and perhaps, you know, always ask more questions so that we truly understand, and not to pitch and sell. We want to know what they're thinking. And then 2, we want to relate. So we want to help them feel that, you know, we understand them, that they're not crazy, that it's not ridiculous what they're saying, that it's not stupid or something like that. And then number 3 is we want to tell a story. It's going to be ours or someone else's. And number 4 is if I would you. So for example, I don't have the time, right? That's one that we can hear a lot. Well, if we listen and ask questions, what could we say? We could say, okay, so when you say that you don't have the time, do you mean that I haven't shown you enough to justify your time? Or are you running like crazy all the time and like you can't get your stuff done? Or do you just feel overwhelmed at the idea of starting something new? So that we know what exactly does that mean, not having enough time. And then when we go to step number 2, relate. And whatever their answer was, we want to start off by saying, me too, or I know, I understand, or something like that, so that people can feel comfortable already, you know, that we're not going to go say, what, of course you have time, of course you can do this, no, say me too. And then maybe we could say something like, well, when I first looked at this opportunity, I totally didn't know how I could make this work. I mean, I had so much stuff going on already at that time too. And just the start of just the idea of starting a new business was totally exhausting for me. I hear you. And then if we go to number 3 to tell the story, then we could say something, for example, like, well, I decided that being crazy busy all the time was getting me nowhere closer to where I needed to be. And that if I needed something to change, well, then I needed to change something. And so I figured out a way to leave some time out, to plan for a better future. And it wasn't easy, but I managed to make it work. And then number 4, if I would you, well, if I could show you how I did it and how you could fit this into your busy schedule or into your life or something, working 15 minutes at a time here and there, would you at least take the next step with me? Because our goal again is the next exposure, right? And then the next exposure might just be answering another objective, and we'll keep answering them exactly all in exactly the same way, same thing, right? So for example, you know, I don't have enough money. Well, how much do you think it takes to start an arbonne business? Or how much do you think that you have to buy? Or what would be a reasonable amount for you to start a business? All these questions will help us to understand exactly what they mean by that. And then if we relate, we can say, I totally know how you feel. I mean, I understand, you know, I didn't have a lot of money when I started my Arbonne business, and whatever the amount they said, whatever, was a lot of money for me too. And I didn't have just that money lying around, you know, I mean, and definitely not if I cannot get it back soon. And then we can move on to the story, for example, and say, well, I told myself that if I didn't have that amount, maybe whatever it was, $1,000 or whatever, I told myself that if I didn't have $1,000 to be able to invest in my future, well, then I definitely needed to do this business. I couldn't just stay there. It's a horrible position to be in, to not have $1,000 to invest in a business. So I found a way to get the $1,000, and I made that $1,000 a symbol of my commitment to change my circumstances. And since $1,000 was a lot for me at the time, I was determined to succeed and stick around, even when things weren't always going my way and when I felt down. So always making it about us, I think, is important, and not making it about them, and not giving advice or lectures, but just telling our story, how we felt it. I mean, if it's true, of course, because it's important to tell a true story. And then, you know, finish off if I would you. So if I could show you how I made it work and how I paid myself back and started to make an extra sum of money every month, would you be willing to at least take a better look at what I'm offering? Right? People will hardly say no to taking a look at something, or to taking a next step, or to getting more information. And just like to close up these examples, you know, don't hesitate to also share examples of other people's stories. So, because sometimes, you know, we can't relate to them. If, you know, they say, I don't know what, if somebody were to say, well, I don't know enough people, for example, right? And you know tons of people. Well, you could say something like, well, I don't really know about that, but all I can tell you, that's Eric Worre always uses that sentence, and I love it so much. I don't know about that, but all I can tell you is there's many people building massive businesses, even though they hardly knew anyone when they started. Let me tell you the story about my friend Charlotte, who started her business after arriving in Montreal, not knowing anyone, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that could work too. And people relate to stories. It's important to tell stories. So that's kind of the examples I want to share with you tonight. To have as many conversations as possible is really important. Not being afraid to ask questions, because we often disregard people as being potentially interested without ever knowing what their true objections were, because we didn't really ask them. And sometimes we have to dig a bit, because what they're first going to say is not actually what they really feel deep down, right? Maybe they'll say, I don't have enough money, but inside they're thinking this is a scam. Okay, and you kind of have to answer that first objection to be able to get to the next one, and until the time when they're going to tell you what it is that they actually think, so that you can answer that. And so this is a profession like any other profession, and I just want to say I always tell myself it takes time. You're going to have to learn the skills, and then you're going to have to apply them, and you're going to have to apply them a lot. So you have to be in action, you have to try. And when you do, you're always learning, and you're never tomorrow where you were yesterday if you did something in between. And so that's it. Everything's figure outable. And I hope this helped you tonight. Thank you for listening.
Oh my God, Charlotte, that was amazing. That was so good. And you know what? It's so funny because Charlotte and I did like an assessment on the type of attributes okay, of a leader. And as you can tell in the comments, Charlotte, every single person in there is like, it is crazy clear. Thank you for the verbiage. Thank you for how you make it so simple to understand. So fun fact, Charlotte is a teacher in her. She is an excellent teacher. I know. I didn't expect Debbie to be on the line, so I'm going to pass it off to Debbie to just wrap up the call. I'm so thankful to you, Charlotte.
You're so funny. Where did you expect me to be?
Well, I thought you were enjoying Florida, and I just thought I'm going to see you on the book club. So here you are.
Oh,
Okay.
I love you. First of all, I apologize for the echo. Again, I have no furniture. And it's even now that I'm here, I have to remind myself I have a second home. I'm not on vacation. Like even when we're going out to eat, I'm like, you can't say you're on vacation when you live somewhere else and then eat like a heifer. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just want to say, Charlotte, that was really good. It was really good. And it was inspiring, but it had tremendous value. to everybody that is on this call tonight. So thank you for sharing it. And I love your story. I love your examples. I loved every single thing about every single thing that you said. And I did take some notes, and I would like to just touch on a few things. One, I don't remember if it was you or Alex who said this, you know, when you see somebody around you succeeding, or you see somebody, you know, around you inspiring you, because we talk about not comparing, we're also really big on the law of attraction. I just want to reiterate that that is the universe showing you that that is available for all of us. Okay, so when we see somebody growing, when we see somebody, you know, earning different things, when we see somebody sponsoring, you know, superstars or whatever you consider a superstar, that is the universe saying that same catalog is available to all of us. But it's when our mind and our heart are open to receive, then and only then. In fact, one of the things that I love the book that we're doing on book club, and it's my third time reading it. Every time you read it, you just get more and more stuff. And, you know, one of the things that actually says, when we're bogged down with negativity, when we're holding on to, whether it's fear, whether it's resentment, whether it's anger, whether it's jealousy, any of those unkind, not ungood is not a word, but just not good emotions, we're actually blocking ourselves from all of the good around us, because our brain is filled, it's lacking the vision because it's filled with the negative emotions, okay? The second thing that I wrote down is, when you're out there sharing what we have, don't overthink this. Please don't overthink this. You know, so many people, even though everything that Charlotte said came out, everything that came out of her mouth was amazing, and I know a lot of you took notes, I did as well, still don't look for that perfect script, okay? Look for the scenario, look for the situation. Just put your heart out on that, on a limb, out on your sleeve, and be willing to share what we have, because belief has a sound. And the more you just share with your heart, you are going to create those results over time. It's when we're like paralyzed and we're looking for the perfect thing in the right moment. And when we do those things, the right moment passes us. It passes us. I can remember, this is actually a regional vice president under Jill Caputo, Trish Reale, and she'll remember this story because this is years back. I was at my old house in Setauket, and Trish was a district manager. I shouldn't have mentioned her name, but it's a good story. She was a district manager, and I did like a basic consultant training at my house. It was the first time I ever met Trish. And she came up to me and said, you know, like, I had some people on my chicken list, and I was waiting to grow, right? Because sometimes we think, oh, when I'm an area, right? When I'm a region, like people aren't impressed by letters, you guys. We know what the letters mean, but NVP and AM, I remember when I met my first area manager, I was like, a real life area manager, okay? So it's like all perspective. I was almost gonna keel over and die, because my mindset was, there are only 2 levels from the top. I'm an independent consultant. I didn't promote to district yet. So we get kind of hung up on those things. Anyway, she was waiting for to grow a little bit before she went to her chicken list. And if her chicken list was at my basic consultant training, what do you think happened? They were on somebody else's list, and somebody else shared arbonne with them, and they were on somebody else's team. And she came up and she's like, what do I do? I didn't remember this, but she told me months later, she said she was actually mad at me for a little bit. I'm like, I guess you need to open your mouth. And she was like a devastated district and walked out the door. But she said that was a defining moment, because she actually went region. I don't want to put a time frame on it, but it was not long after that, because she realized we actually need to just share what we have and not get so hung up on our title and the right time and all of these things. And also, you know, I'm going all over because I'm going off of things that Charlotte said and or Alex said, but sometimes you're like, oh, would they be good? Would they not be good? You guys, not one of my direct national vice presidents was personally sponsored by me. Okay, so you need to understand, please don't judge a book. Don't judge a book by their cover. You know, are they ambitious enough? Do they have grit? Are they a hard? You don't know who someone knows. In fact, I mean, we could talk about Canada. The person that I called, I thought would be amazing. And I called her every single day for 31 days. And you guys, at some point, she lost vision, she lost belief, she lost hope. And She's an independent consultant today. She does renew, and I pray to God at some point she comes back to this business. But I don't even know how many regional vice presidents and national vice presidents are attached to that person. So you just don't know. Don't overthink it. And I love Charlotte's story. You don't need a network in Arbonne. You don't. You need a vision, because we live on a planet with 7 billion people. Now, they don't all live in the states that Arbonne is, but when you have a vision, you figure it out. We have an opportunity every single day when we walk out of this door. And Charlotte, I love what you said, that you don't look at it as a cold market. I don't either. I look at it as, who am I going to meet today? Who can I share Arbonne with? Like, I love being in Florida. I love everything about being in Florida, but make no mistake about it. I have a zip code in Florida to build an organization. Make absolutely, I've heard that Arbonne hasn't really been built in Florida. I heard that in Long Island. Thank you for shopping. I heard that about New Jersey. Thank you for shopping. I heard that about Florida. Thank you for shopping. It's not the zip code. It's the vision that moves to the zip code. Okay, so wherever, I want you guys to realize that there are people looking for what we have, and go out there every day and go out there and say, who can I meet? Whose lives can I touch? Who can I build a relationship with? I want to make new friends. My realtor knows about Arbonne. His realtors know about Arbonne. Every single person I'm meeting knows about Arbonne. In fact, to touch on what, there was a woman here the other day, they were using my house to do videos for YouTube because it's big and empty and white right now. There's nothing in it. And so I was like, oh, this woman would be great. And she goes, what do you do? I go, have you ever heard of Arbonne? And she goes, I did. I did it years ago. It came through here. I'm like, well, it's back. So maybe we should have a conversation, because Arbonne just moved here, So go out there and it's like, make a difference. She's a realtor. She knows people. She works hard, all of these things. So you guys, this is the time more than ever to go out there and share what we have, but share it with vision, share it with belief, share it with passion. Like, what if, and this is why I get so sentimental about my Arbonne anniversary every year, because all of us started a business pretty much for us and our family, right? I know I did. I said yes to this business because of what it financially could do. I love the community. I love the people. I love the leaders. Like, obviously I see Arbonne through a different set of eyes today, but 14 and a half years ago, it was all about, this is an opportunity. The products are great. If I really work hard, this is the life I can create for my family. It was all about me, okay? But now 15 years later, you watch, because you persevered, because you didn't get down, because you kept going, because you kept sharing this with people. It's like, look at like every time I see a new leader speak, I'm like, what if? Like, what if? And so I want you guys to all like really realize that, like, what if you don't go out this? What if Alex just went in that day and bought Swarovski for her team? What if she did? What if, when the other night when we were on, I don't even know what call we were on, I met somebody on the plane, and I wanted so badly to talk to her in the airport, but I was on the line to get on the plane, and she was at another gate, and I saw her from a distance, and I'm like, I should get off this line, but there's not another parent here to be with Bailey. And then law of attraction, all of a sudden I'm in my seat, I see her walking down the aisle. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Oh, she's sitting next to me. She sat next to me. Of course she did. And the whole way there, I tried to make conversation, but it was so loud that I kept doing this. She could have been telling me to actually go die. And I was smiling. Like, I had no idea what she was saying to me. And so when the plane stopped, we had like 5 minutes. And I literally said, I have to be honest with you. You're about to get off this plane, and you can't get off this plane without hearing about what I do for a living. And I said, I saw you at the gate. I wanted to talk to you. I said, I don't know if you believe in coincidences. And I didn't know what to say. And one of the main reasons I never really train on what to say is because, you guys, I'm an executive national vice president with a decent sized business. My heart was pounding because I didn't know what to say. I was afraid to miss that moment. I was fearful of her getting off that plane and me losing the opportunity to give her the opportunity to change her life. I did not know what I was going to say the whole way down as the plane was landing. I'm like, what the hell am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? And I literally said, just present me with the right thing to say. And she was trying to take a picture out the window. And a person next to her kept shutting the shade. And I'm watching Bailey next to me taking the most perfect pictures. I'm like, golden. So when we get on the ground, I go, Bailey, my daughter, I showed her the picture. She goes, oh my God, I need it. I go, awesome. Let's connect on Instagram and I'll send you the pic. I'm like, Jesus just landed on my roof. And I share that with you guys because no matter how long you're in Arbonne, the heart's still going to pound. You're still going to sweat. You're not going to know what to say. There are times that people get up and leave. And I'm like, Deb, you just made that about you. You didn't know what to say. And somebody just got up and walked away because you couldn't either focus, you couldn't make it like it's really about us. So I want you guys to know that nervousness that you have in your heart and your soul is not going to go away. And there's been opportunities I've missed and there's been opportunities I've seized, but don't let the moment pass, because the worst possible thing that could have happened is she's like, no, I really don't want to connect, and she gets off that plane, but at least I can put my head on the pillow at night and know I shared it. I offered it. And actually she said, I'm very interested. I'm extremely interested. She has videos. We've been in contact, but here's the great thing. We're Instagram friends now. So she's kind of stuck with me for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I wish you guys all an incredible week. Charlotte, thank you for sharing. And what we want to do when we walk out every day is whose lives can we touch? Who can we connect with? Who can we build a relationship with? And I'm going to make a new friend today. I'm going to make a new friend today. That's what Arbonne is. We build people, we build community, and we share the gift of Arbonne. We're not out there like, just prospecting people. We're sharing the gift and making friends.